Stress. What an odd concept. I mean, we all understand it when we hear somebody talk about stress. It's probably one of the few English words I can think of that everybody understands as soon as they hear it. Even though your version of stress and my version of stress are probably completely different from one another. That's very likely. But if I tell you that I'm under a lot of stress, or you tell me that you're stressed out, we both understand each other. And that's the problem, because in a world where definitions matter, stress means everything and nothing all at once. And because of that, it's difficult to deal with. It's hazy. But we all have a pretty good sense that being under stress or stressed out isn't necessarily a good thing. We get that, and we don't like it. So what's to be done about our collective stress? Well, the first thing we need to do is stop referring to stress as stress. I've already established that the term, the phrase, the word is just too broad to be useful. So we need to get rid of it. When you or I are stressed, it's because of something. And that something is a stressor, or quite possibly stressors in the plural. Either way, we need to stop referring to stress as this global concept, and we need to start referring to specific stressors or a stressor, because we can't cope with stress in its broad and non-specific form. It's referring to the effect. We can't fix the effect unless we address the cause. And that's exactly the plan, is we're going to identify the cause, the stressor, and we're going to deal with that specifically. By naming our stressor, we can start the process of problem solving to mitigate it or eliminate it. There's a lot of value in that. Not the least of which is being able to figure out why a stressor is a stressor at all. Once we make the determination as to why a stressor has the effect it does on us, we can start taking steps to deal with that specific stressor. Because a single stressor is vulnerable to problem solving in a way that non-specific general stress just isn't. In other words, you can't really solve stress because it's immune to problem solving due to the fact that it is so generalized. But you can most definitely solve a single stressor. And this isn't just semantics. This is a very specific type of problem solving template that I use to help people when they're dealing with a lot of stressful situations in their life. I have to get them to acknowledge that it isn't just stress that's the problem, that it is specific stressors that are the problem. It's like trying to deal with the weather by wearing every piece of clothing that you own all at once. Just thinking about that, you realize that it will probably create more problems than it solves. It just wouldn't work. But what you can do is look outside and see what kind of weather you're going to have to deal with that day and dress accordingly. And that's the key to dealing with stress. You can't just take everything and hope that it fixes everything. You have to be very targeted and very specific in your actions when you're dealing with stress. And we do that by identifying the stressors. So whenever you find yourself dealing with or struggling with the concept of stress, just imagine yourself wearing a snowsuit in a heat wave. Remember that you don't have stress. You actually have stressors.